Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and don't worry, John Fitch is on the way. It is Mixed Martial Mindset, and hopefully in this episode we actually will be talking a little bit, just a slight little bit about mixed martial arts, because I didn't even realize that Fedor was on the card this week and that it was in Russia. I knew it was coming up. I forgot that he was fighting Tim Johnson. There was just a lot of mishaps on my part. So we'll show you that pretty quick knockout at some point. I'm a big mixed martial arts fan. But I think the big focus of today is, you guys remember that series of books back when you were a kid? It was called, Hey God, It's Me, Margaret. And it wasn't hey, it's in the title, right? It's Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Well, right now, I believe that Joe Biden is asking America, are you there? Or maybe he's not. Maybe he is talking to God like Margaret was. I don't know. Maybe he thinks he's talking to God. I don't think that he's much of a godly man. Let me tell you that right now. I think that's sort of a scam. He's a good Catholic boy, my Arnis. But joining me, as always, is John Fitch, having a little smoky smoke over there as we discuss Joe Biden, his terrible cognition, some of the fights. We haven't talked fights in a while, Fitch. Did you catch Fedor?
I caught most of the highlights. He looked fairly crisp, but I don't know if that was a resurgence of the great last emperor or, just a lesser opponent.
Tim Johnson, I'll give him props. He went on a little run before his last loss. He's been looking better. He's an extreme couture. Fedor,
tough guy, but he's been kind of a journeyman for a while.
Yeah, listen, again, for as old as Fedor is, I was actually happy they put him up with the tier of competition that Tim Johnson was. And Fedor looked a little juicy. We're going to actually, why not show it? Because this is not from the actual feed there. Everybody's going to be able to see it. It's quick. And hey,
he just paused right in the perfect spot.
Yeah.
So I had some guys popped in on the chat last night who felt that it was a suspect fight.
Ooh, I don't know. I thought
they had a bad feeling about the fight.
I watched it, and I thought Tim Johnson was actually going for it, man. And you know what? I'm actually pretty happy that after some fight nights, although the Vittori Costa card was pretty decent, and the actual main event lived up to the hype as well. It was pretty. Did you watch that?
I did not catch the whole fight.
Fitch,
good?
At 25 minutes ago.
When these guys don't make weight, and it's like, you're not taking the fight serious. Should I take it serious?
I don't know, bro. He might have just come in there with that mentality, thinking to get a payday on it. I don't know what his contract is like. Dana said from now on he's fighting 205. But early on, you might have thought that Costa wasn't going to have the gas tank. It went 5, and it went a brutal 5. And it was a good 5. And, I don't want to ruin it for, well, you don't care. But Costa ends up losing the fight. He also got a point taken for, I believe it was an eye poke that he had been warned about or something like that. So to me, it was actually a pretty solid fight, one of the better cards they put on. But they're at least giving the pay-per-view, not really away for free. You still have to have your $8 subscription a month, right?
Still got to be a member before you have access to the pay-per-view.
I mean, it's not bad on the main card. Blagovic, Teixeira, Peter Yan, Corey Sandhagen, Islam Makhachev, Dan Hooker, Volkov, Tiberia. I mean, honestly, it's a pretty stacked card for the main card.
Yeah, it's a good card.
Yeah, it's about as good as it gets.
Make sure to catch this.
But it's at 1 p.m. the main card, Central Time. So that means for you, it's going to be
this Saturday.
Not only it's going to be 11 for you, and I want to say, is the prelim? What times the prelims go? Prelims are actually going to be 10:30 your time. So actually, no, 7:30 a.m. your time, right? Yeah, mine are 9:30 a.m. That means they got a huge undercard. Wow.
Crazy.
All right, John, let's start talking Joey B. Even Newsweek here has to acknowledge that he had some strange moments. Now, they're even running some cover. We're going to play a supercut. But did you catch any of this town hall?
I did not. I caught him frozen on stage, like how Talladega Nights.
You mean this?
I don't know what to
You
do
caught
with
some
my
of
hands.
that?
I caught that where he was.
I mean, that was for a while. I think that's gonna be in the supercut.
Julio.
Yeah. But unfortunately, right after that, this occurred, and the crowd went wild. I couldn't help it, folks. I couldn't help it. I figured if I was gonna show one, I'm gonna show the other. I wanna.
You gotta show them both.
Yeah, I want to dismantle this. Go ahead.
I don't know, man. How is this not? I don't know. There's a lot of people got to be shaking their heads at their own choices, because this is like a prime for comedy to make fun of, right? Like everything on TV could be just railing on this guy nonstop because it's hilarious.
But it's not,
So
because
this is the leader of the free world, but you won't see anybody doing a Joe Biden on Saturday Night Live.
yeah, they did it actually this Saturday. They did the triple
Finally?
Biden. They did the triple Biden. You know, I almost was going to play that. Maybe we'll play it in the uncensored version. I haven't actually watched it, but I saw a clip or two. And finally, they went after Joe Biden a little bit. But the bottom line is, at this thing, they somehow cultivated a crowd with pre-scripted questions already who cheered when Biden said what? That he would fire people who were first responders who did not take the shot. Now, if you're new to the program, guys, there's going to be a point where we have to bring this over to Rockfin because we can't talk about certain things on YouTube. And one of those things, one of those things, John, is that we have, they're trying to say hundreds, almost a complete media blackout. I want people to go check it out. Just type in New York City protests. We're going to show you some of these videos. Literally thousands of people in the streets right now.
Yes.
So, and this is in New York. And shout out to Kara Castronova, who literally was, down there and has been doing this now for well over a year, trying to combine people. Meanwhile, fake intellectuals, John, like Noam Chomsky, are saying the un-boop-boop, the unclean. We should just, from now on, when I see that, I'm just going to say the unclean, because that's what we are, right? We're unclean, John. We are. The unclean are endangering others. Why is this done? Liberty? There's no such liberty. There's no liberty that allows you to drive through a red light because you feel like it. I mean, that analogy is from a tired, old, decrepit man, much like Joe Biden. That's why I'm making that. And I want to show, this is yesterday. We are going to be able to show this here. Okay. And I want to say this again. Shout out to Kyrie Irving for being one of the men. He's a man. He stands up for what he believes in, for his family. He's not worried about his paycheck at the Brooklyn Nets. He's made enough money. He wants to be a champion, but he refuses to
health and future.
Refuses to bend the knee. And he's one of the guys with the hugest platform. And now, because it's involved with their season, guess what? Oh, guess what, John? Now some people are getting upset in New York.
To the clash at the Barclays Center, dozens of protesters marched to the arena ahead of the Nets home opener to demand Kyrie Irving play, despite not following New York City's vaccine mandate. At one point, some of them tried to force their way into the building.
Whoa, wait. Look at all those white supremacists that are anti-mandates, that are supporting the unclean. There's a lot of white supremacy going on right there, John.
Comes amid more protests against New York City's vaccine mandate for all municipal employees, including first responders. The deadline is this Friday.
CBS News' John Diaz joins us live from Lower Manhattan, where another protest is planned for today. John.
Well, Mary and Sydney, protesters are calling this one a march for choice. On their flyers advertising this protest, they say that there are tens of thousands of them that are against this new vaccine.
And by the way, it's a total media blackout. They're trying to say hundreds. On the other side of YouTube, because they're actually, John, because they're saying it's medical misinformation, they're pulling those feeds today from New York City right now. So again, you want a free speech platform? Guys, I sat down for an hour today and gave a presentation to this monetary company that's hopefully going to make this building happen. I'm coming for them. We're going to get Fitch out there for a week as soon as the studio is ready. Right. We're going to have interns, and we're not going to put up with it because they're censoring the truth.
Mandate. Now, this one comes after several people rallied and protested over the weekend in several different locations.
I will go in Friday morning and fill out my paperwork to retire.
A bold decision for this city firefighter, choosing to trade in his firefighter.
Man, that's some toxic masculinity right there, John. A firefighter, a first responder of many years that said, I will go in there and I will file my retirement paperwork. I will not bend the knee. They don't like that guy. They want to soy him up, huh? They want to soy him up.
Gear instead of getting a COVID vaccine.
It hasn't been enough testing. It hasn't been long enough for doctors to say, no, it's perfectly safe.
A thought shared among many at this Staten Island rally on Sunday. Time is now running out for the 160,000 city workers who must get the shot by this coming Friday or go on unpaid leave. Right now, only 55% of firefighters are vaccinated.
I estimate that anywhere from 25 to 30% of firehouses may close.
Think about that. That's how much they care about your health, and they care about your house burn. Remember, this is a health crisis. That's how much they care. And if they're saying 55%, I don't know. There's been some Fibonacci's out there. Well, let's just minimize this for a second. We're going to have to go into this deeper on the other side, but I'm not sure if you saw this yet. But this is an actual headline. The Unclean, apparently, Americans are.
This is the most bizarre.
We're gonna dissect it on the other side.
Bizarre
Listen,
thing ever.
Again, John, we're gonna dissect it on the other side because we can't say what actually needs to be said on YouTube because they don't want.
It protects you from things it's not supposed to protect you from. It's magic. It's really magic, guys. You get the magic voodoo, Bob.
Again, we'll talk about it on the other side. But again, when they're telling you 55% and they're saying things like that, how many people in New York City that are firefighters and first responders actually have taken it? Ask yourself common sense questions. They told you Joey B., who we're going to play that video too, was the most popular president of all time. Let's continue.
The mayor says there's a contingency plan to ensure services are not interrupted, including paying overtime. Only 50% of EMS workers are currently vaccinated, 71% of cops, and 51% of correction officers.
We're not anti-vax, but we're anti-mandate.
From playing hardball with politicians to basketball, there was drama outside the Brooklyn Nets home opener at Barclays Center last night.
Looks a lot of white supremacy going on right there. Look at all those Trump hats. Those bastard insurrectionists at the Barclays Center there, John.
Terrorism.
Some of the protesters tried storming the entrance over the team's decision to not let Kyrie Irving play because he won't get vaccinated. Security had to hold them back and close all.
Take a look at this, America. I just want everybody to take a real great look at where the key to the city pass has gotten New York City right now. Huh? The key to slavery? You got a bunch of people blockading a sporting event because their star player refuses to bend the knee. Okay, they are wearing masks, some around their chin. Okay, in a show of their obedience, yet they know that it doesn't really work and mean anything. And they're fighting with white supremacists who also happen to be obviously African American sports fans who could be domestic terrorists. And it's 2021, and everything I just said is basically right in your face. I mean, that's how upside down it is.
All front doors to secure the area. Ticketed guests already inside watched it unfold.
All this for Kyrie? Because he don't want to get vaccinated? But Kyrie could play if he get vaccinated.
The rally started.
I mean, because he could play if he just get vaccinated. What?
Started hours before the game at a park about a mile away.
They're trying to take away our freedom.
It was organized by several groups, including Teachers for Choice, Reverend Kevin McCall, and Black Lives Matter activist Hank Newsom, who marched to Barclays with signs.
Whoa! When did Black Lives Matter go white supremacy, John?
Yep.
This is wild.
That is the plot twist.
This is just...
We needed it for 2021. Black Lives Matter was going to go anti-jab mandates.
And John, this is what I've been telling and preaching for how long. It's just like we don't want Antifa and people who dress up like that to be domestic terrorists. I don't want Black Lives Matter to be domestic terrorists. I don't want Trump supporters to be domestic terrorists. I want a system that we already had where if you commit a crime, you can be prosecuted for that crime. We can't have all these labels, because look how the labels go. It's just like, remember who drove into the Capitol building? It was that nasty black supremacist and fan of Louis Farrakhan. So this Black Lives Matter won't be their Black Lives Matter. Do you understand how it works, folks? It's the inversion of reality everywhere that these guys have now gone full-on white supremacy.
Now, no arrests were made outside the Barclays Center. And as for these city workers, well, we are told that several of their unions plan on suing the city.
And listen, I hope they do. But what's really going to happen, okay, is now just like the school boards, the unions that are already corrupt and mandating these shots for their athletes are going to demand that their workers be protected. And if something like that happens again, because they fear for their safety, right? Just like the board members fear for their safety at schools and they're intimidated, sick the DOJ on them. Domestic terrorist. Domestic terrorist. So let's show the Zombie J supercut. And yeah, this is from
so bizarre.
Yeah, Benny Johnson put this together. Benny Show, go follow him on Twitter at Benny Johnson. Here we go.
Providing professional education, don't pay a cent.
Yeah, when he did that, they actually showed that as the gaffe in Newsweek, right? That was one of the gaffes they did show. Let's go here. Don't pay a cent. Like, oh, hold on, not this one. If you go down, first of all, here, he talks about the imaginary jetpack, okay? And, and basically says that he doesn't see gas prices being lowered. And I live on the border of Illinois and Iowa. I pulled over at a gas station in Illinois to get gas. I was like, nope. Nope. Went back to, I was literally 40 cents cheaper. And in Iowa, get this, guys, I can get ethanol-free gas here. No ethanol at all. Zero. Just pure gasoline. And it's, you know how much I pay? Under $4 a gallon, John.
Wow.
It's so supreme, dude. I lick my little lips in my 10-gallon tank.
I have the Costco gas.
What are you paying right now for like 85%?
It's like $4.55, I think.
Yeah, for like 85%, right?
I get premium. I get the.
Oh, you do the good stuff?
Yeah, I do the good stuff.
You got to do the good stuff. So he talks. This is the don't pay a cent. So they actually caught him on that. Talked a little bit about Colin Powell, right? And he said that he raced him. Actually, we will pay the old man doing the racing Colin Powell clip. Why not?
The country lost, and I know you lost somebody who you consider a close friend, General Colin Powell. What's something about him that people didn't know?
He had enormous integrity. They knew that.
Integrity.
But he's one of the few serious players I've dealt with over these years. When he made a mistake, he acknowledges it.
No, he never did.
I was wrong about
That's rare these days.
No, it's rare. It's been rare. It's
no.
Human nature. For someone in a powerful position to say they are wrong. They are wrong. I made a mistake. That's a hard thing to do.
And one thing he did.
I've had to do it about a half a dozen times lately. But all kidding aside. And the second thing.
Wait, did you just hear him? He literally just said, this is how God he is. He goes, I had to do it a half a dozen times lately. Let me just play that again. So he's admitting already he had to say he was wrong a half a dozen times lately. This is how God, and no one calls him out on it. Can you imagine if there were, and I'm not a Trump guy, but can you imagine 6 real scandals like I was wrongs with Trump's? Can you, I mean, they did that Russiagate bullshit and that was about it.
That's a hard thing to do. And I've had to do it about a half a dozen times lately. But all kidding aside. And the second thing about him is he had a lot of serious, he had real compassion. You know, well, I'll tell you afterwards, but because we only have a few minutes, he and I went out to the Secret Service racetrack. He had a brand new Corvette his family bought him, his kids bought him, and I have a 67, 327, 350, and we raced. We raced. And you know the only reason, I'm serious, it was on Jay Leno. Check it out, Jay Leno live. He's a hell of a guy.
Who won?
Well, I won only because he was worried I was going to crash into him.
What in the hell? First of all, he could barely get that out there. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like,
the chances that's just a fabricated, premeditated story they just came up with.
No, I bet you Leno did do that.
Let's go with the car racing. Let's go with the car racing story.
I do remember when he couldn't remember Long Beach, but that's going to be in the supercut. So let's get back to the supercut.
Not a single little red cent. Let's go through Los Angeles and what am I doing here?
Is it Long Beach?
Long Beach, thank you.
You had told us at a town hall, I think it was in July, that this was just near-term inflation. The Wall Street Journal recently talked.
And the child who did it. A gigantic disadvantage.
Mr. President, the question was on on community college.
No, you know, look, I was a senator for 370 years. So when a drug deal was going down, she'd pick up the phone and call and say to that police officer with a cell phone that the drug deal's going down, knowing that she would never be fingered, knowing that she would never be the one told it happened. And so crime began to drop.
Never be the one told it happened. He can't speak. He can't string together sentences.
They had to know who the local liquor store. They had to know and walk in and shake hands with the local minister. They had to know that's...
I didn't watch the whole thing, guys, but there you go. So, I think this is a good time to actually break off from YouTube, censorship tube, and we're going to show you actual protests of what's going on in New York City that we can't talk about. And I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Richard Bartlett and his sister Laura. I'm trying to edit, so I have that video footage from that guy, right? But right now they're trying to smear Bartlett. They're trying to charge Dr. Bartlett for going into Midland Center and basically trying to save lives. They were putting bags over people's heads. Remember we put that when we covered that? So now they're trying to smear him. They're trying to get rid of his license, the whole nine. And we need more people like Dr. Richard Bartlett that are actually saving lives. We've talked about the Oxford study. We've talked about the B word, budesonide. I hear it's good for some things. That's all I'm going to say. I hear budesonide. They've used it in medicine before. It has that FDA-approved marker everybody seems to come up with. So, again, we can't talk about it on YouTube. We're going to show you these protests. They don't want you to know this many people are in the street in New York. So, John, before we go, I do want you to tell everybody about your website quick. Let them know.
JohnFitch.net, sign up for the newsletter. I have a new course on Gumroad. It's a free course, and you should get it, download it, and practice so that people can't mess with you. It's the intro to practical self-defense. You can find on Gumroad. There's links in my bio, so you can check it out.
And everybody, thumbs it up, subscribe, and share if you were watching on YouTube. I still need you. And we're going to do like a 24-hour marathon the day I open up at this new studio. There's a lot of work to be done. First of all, I don't even have the building yet. But I'm feeling good about locking it in. We're going to rip up the floors. We're going to put everything in. I can't do it without your support. The links are down below. Odyssey, thanks for backing me up. Rockfin. That's where we're going. Can we get 40,000 strong? Because YouTube...
Do it.
It's not good to be cut off like this. We love you, but we'll see you over at Rockfin. Okay, we are off YouTube. It's tough, but hey, YouTube censors. So